Yo, what's going on, man? Let's jump right into this. How do you even Okay, first of all, I always like to talk about a topic on Tuesday. The reason is because usually a big event happens over the weekend, right? Then you have Monday, you have everybody chiming in, and then the dust really starts to settle around Tuesday and everybody gets back to their fucking senses, right? Everybody starts to get normal. I'm just making sure the stream is live here. All right, stream is live. Everybody starts to get normal. Everybody starts to calm down. Everybody starts to stop being so defensive or offensive. They sit back and they become more neutral. So here we are Tuesday, the day after the infamous slap heard around the world. And I've heard a lot of people talking about this, but everybody's giving their perspective from their opinion and not really an honest view of what really happened. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to unpack what the fuck just happened. All right? So let's unpack it. But before we unpack it, let's set the stage. How are we going to set the stage? We're going to set the stage like so. Adam and Eve is in the Garden of Eden. Adam has everything he wants. Beautiful woman, fruits, sun, animals. He's in command of the whole ship. God said, don't eat from that tree, the forbidden fruit of the tree. We all know the story. The snake, Eve, he bites the apple. They run in the bush. And the history of man, the sin of man, is now upon us all. Well, we all know that story is a bunch of bullshit. This is what really happened in the Garden of Eden. God said, do not have sex with Eve. They went into the bush. They were having sex in the bush. And God said, what are you guys doing? I told y'all not to do this. The snake convinced Eve to convince Adam. But Adam is wrong because he was given the instructions from the Lord how to conduct yourself in this situation. A lot of people like to blame Eve. A lot of people like to blame the snake. I think we have to check Adam's ego. And that's probably the first time you ever hear anybody say that. This is the first time you hear anybody say this on the planet, that the Adam and Eve story, Adam needed to check his ego because he was given instructions from God. Do not eat from that tree. Do not bend Eve over. Whatever it was, don't play Nintendo. Don't go outside. Don't play cards. Don't go outside without brushing your teeth. Whatever it was, he was given strict instructions what not to do. But as humanity moves, we like to push the blame on other things. Like, oh my God, it's Eve. She's an evil woman. She manipulated me. Or it's the snake that came involved and manipulated Eve, that manipulated Adam. And it's all these things. It doesn't matter who manipulated what or who said what. Adam was given a strict rules from God, what to do and not to do, and he failed. So that's how we're going to set the stage. So now let's go into Sunday night, all right? Chris Rock says a joke. Everybody thinks it's a joke. Will Smith gets up, smacks the guy. Everybody's saying that comedians are allowed to roast people, and it's a part of their act. Well, it's so funny how we have, this is what I'm saying, where nobody really gives a true point of view. You remember that Kramer from Seinfeld, right? The great comedian Seinfeld, when he was in the comedy club and he was calling everybody nigger. You're a nigger, you're a nigger, you're a nigger. How come that wasn't part of the act? Why was Kramer's rant inside the club offensive and it wasn't part of the act? He's a comedian. You're at his show. He's allowed to say whatever he wants. He's allowed to say what jokes he wants. Why are you guys so sensitive? It's a joke. It's part of his act. Why was that deemed racist? Why was that deemed disrespectful? I thought he's a comedian. I thought he's doing his shtick. Hold on a second. I thought he was doing his shtick. Now, would I say what Kramer did and what Chris Rock did is as equal disrespect? It all depends on who's receiving the disrespect. There could be a black person inside the crowd that thought Kramer's shtick was funny. There could be a black person in the crowd that thought that Kramer's shtick was disrespectful. There could have been a white person in the crowd that thought Kramer's shtick was disrespectful. There could have been a white person in the crowd that thought Kramer's shtick was funny. So Chris Rock says a joke. Some people laugh. Some people didn't think it was funny. All the comedians in the world are saying, oh, we're just comedians. We're allowed to say crazy shit to people, and you guys gotta stop being so sensitive. No. I'm coming to your show to watch your show, not to be a part of the show. Now, if you want to include me in your jokes, that's fine. Just refund me my ticket price. And I'm gladly sit in the front row and have you make fun of me. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's like if you go to a basketball game and you're sitting courtside and an NBA player jumps into you and knocks you over. Well, that's kind of different. He's chasing the ball at that point. That NBA player or that football player is not intentionally trying to hurt you. That football player or that basketball player or that baseball player hitting that ball, that foul ball that goes off the end of the bat and it has knocked people out, that wasn't his intention. His intention was to hit a home run, get a base hit, drive somebody home. The football player's intention was to avoid the hit, not to get pushed out of bounds. The basketball player's intention was to go after the basketball, and you just happen to be collateral damage. Whereas the comedian is directly insulting you directly. So let's unpack that. We can't look at people's reactions and say it's bad or good, right? Because people react differently, right? You say something, I'm from Boston, and it was funny. I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and Joe Rogan said of all the cities he's been to, because he grew up in Boston, Boston has to be the most fightiest city in America. Just a place of angry immigrants. And I'm just thinking about my life and my youth. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's right, kind of right. We are a bunch of angry immigrants here. And in Boston, people just fist fight. Like, that's just the thing. You just fist fight all the time. So in certain neighborhoods and in certain way people are brought up, you get out of line, you get whacked. You may think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. I think it's offensive. I whack you. And that's just how some of us are raised and brought up. As you tend to, and the only way to really get to human excellence is to contradict yourself, right? You have to see both sides of the story, and you have to like, okay. As you start to, you grow up in Dorchester, and you know you're working at the factory, and then you start to climb the ladder. And you move out of Dorchester, you move to Lexington, and you have this big old house in Lexington, and your next door neighbor said something crazy to you. You know, now you're in Lexington. Now you've grown up. You've changed your perspective of life. The same thing that your neighbor said to you in Dorchester, the same thing your neighbor would say to you in Lexington, at this stage in your life, you've changed, you've evolved. That's something that you would probably brush off. because we're evolving. Like our goal as human beings is to evolve, right? It's not to stay in the same state. I mean, could you imagine if your child stayed at 2? He's like 23 years old and you got to change a guy's fucking diaper. Could you imagine that? That wouldn't work, right? So mentally, we have to do the same exact thing, right? We have to start to evolve, right? So now you make fun of some guy's girl on the corner street in Dorchester, and you make a joke at somebody's girl on the Oscars. The angles has changed dramatically. The angles have changed dramatically, right? So now it's your night. This is for your legacy. This is for your children's legacy, right? This was a night where your wife, your kids, when you're dead and gone, your great-great-grandchildren could look back and said, Will Smith got an Oscar. And that goes into the family chest, like the crest, like you see like these English families have these crests on the wall, and that goes on your wall. That's on your crest. And everybody from your lineage get to see that achievement. And with that achievement, hopefully could bring more achievements. So now you want to start adding more Oscars, more Grammys into the family chest, right? Because excellence has been set. This is what we do. We work hard, we achieve, we excel. So, I mean, where do we stand here? I hear comedians talking a lot of shit because comedians want to make fun of people and get away with it. And they don't want to get smacked in the face. And now comedians are scared because Will Smith set the bar that if you talk shit, you get smacked. You're like killing me here. Um, yeah. So I forgot what I was gonna say. Right. We set the bar for generations, right? So we want to set the bar for generations to come. So as that joke is being said on national television, Will Smith laughed at it. Right? He laughed. His wife didn't laugh. We go back to Adam and Eve. Where was the snake? What was the snake in that incident? What convinced the woman to convince the man to go and do an act against the will of the gods? Right? What was the snake? What was the snake in that incident? Was it Chris Rock? Was Chris Rock the devil? The snake was Will Smith's ego. An ego that has been chipped away by his wife over the course of their relationship. She demasculated him. She's taken away his manhood. She's basically held his balls and cuts his balls off. And got him. She's got Will Smith balls in her pocketbook. Literally. The guy is neutered. He has no fucking balls. She's walking around with his balls in her pocketbook. And Jada kind of like, do you want your balls back? You have to do this deed. And Will Smith does this deed and she doesn't give his balls back. This is a very serious spiritual dynamic that we're witnessing here. This is like a war of spirits. There's levels of deep to this. There's like mental issues and there's a lot of things going on that we can't just unpack. We just can't say Will Smith is right, Will Smith is wrong. We have to really look at this like, what did we just watch? Yeah, we saw somebody smack someone, but what the fuck did you just watch? And they always say, when you watch a fight from a distance, the two people look like idiots. You don't know who's right or wrong. So like if you were deaf and you were just watching it, you know, you're just deaf and you're flicking through the channels, boom, and you see a whole bunch of people dressed in tuxedos that look good, you're going to stop and watch it. Then one guy's going to come out of the crowd and smack one guy. You're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what happened? You know, subtitles is turned off. Both guys look stupid because one guy's grinning, one guy's getting slapped. One guy's grinning, one's doing the slapping. One guy's grinning, one guy's walking away. So, like, what dynamic is going on here? So sometimes you got to look at incidents with the audio turned off and the bullshit turned off, and just look at what we saw. What we saw was a situation that was insane. It was the unchecked ego of Will Smith. Right? So now we have Monday, and we didn't do a clinical study about this, right? There's a lot of women that come out and say, Will Smith is my hero. There's a lot of women that came out and say, Will Smith is a bitch. Why do we have such polarizing opposites when it comes to women? I thought we're defending women here. Would you think that we're defending women, that all women would be on board? So what is that? Where is that coming from? Why are some women with it? Why are some women against it? Right? Like, where is that coming from? Could that come from some women don't need to be defended by a man? Because my little daughter that's just born, she don't need defense from no man. My little daughter is not going to be grown up to be some like damsel in distress. Like, oh my God, I can't cross the street because there's a water puddle. Will Prince Charming please come and throw down a jacket so I could? No, that's not I'm going to raise my girl. My girl is not going to be some damsel in distress that needs a man to stick up for her. That's how my sister was dressed. Me and my sister's been in bar fights, right? That's how my sister was raised. You're not a damsel in distress, right? So there's a lot of women that doesn't need a man for protection. There's a lot of black women that don't need a strong black man for protection. There's a lot of white women that don't need no strong man for protection. There's a lot of women, period, that don't need a strong man for protection because they can protect themselves. There's a lot of women that need a strong man for protection. I don't know which one's right or wrong. Which one is right or wrong? That's a question that you guys have to figure out. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know which one is right or wrong. I do know that there's women on both sides of the aisle that's saying that Jada's toxic and she's bad for Will Smith. And then there's other women saying that Jada Smith is the greatest and Will Smith is their hero. That is something that you can't pick sides on that. That's another thing that you have to unpack. Like, these are just things that you have to start to unpack before you give your opinion. I don't know the answers to them. I'm just going through. I don't have an answer of what's right or wrong. I'm just giving you guys shit to unpack. Here's my personal opinion on the matter. As someone that's trying to grow a media channel, well, someone that's been in the media for 25 years and striving to leave Oscars and Grammys in the family chest. So my children, my girlfriend's family, and my girlfriend and my family, our families could sit back and say, Jesus Christ, I mean, you picked a good guy here. You picked the guy that created something a good piece of art that he created that's in the chest that both of our families can appreciate and then now set the standard for generations to come. So my selfish view on this whole situation. So now I'm giving you my selfish view is this is your night. This is your first Oscar. You were set up and you fell in the trap. All the other opinions coming Monday morning up until Tuesday, it's whatever. My selfish opinion, this is your night. This is your chance for excellence. This is your chance to set the stage for every single kid in Philly. This is why you when you do things, Julius Caesar's heading into war to take over the world, right? And his generals, they're about to take over, and they got the generals walking down the line, right? It's got all his soldiers, and this is for Rome, this is for God, this is for Caesar, right? What the general said to his troops were, what you do in life will echo in eternity. What you do will echo in life in eternity. Julius Caesar and the Roman Empire has fallen, I don't even know, right? It's been, 2,000, how many years after Jesus Christ's death? 2020 years after. So what was the Roman Empire? I had the Roman Empire. What is that? 10 BC? Because the Greek Empire was between 1 and 3. The height of the Greek Empire was 3 BC. That's when the Greeks were like. So we're talking Roman Empire is how many years old? Yeah. Right. Julius Caesar's reign has echoed in eternity. Eternity. We're still talking about Julius Caesar. We're still talking about Jesus. Is he real? Is he fake? 2022 years after his death. The only thing, and this is not a joke, the only thing there's only two things that could save Will Grace's legacy, Will Smith's legacy right now. There's only two things could happen. Divorces Jada and get back his pair of balls out of her purse. Or you hope there's World War III, everybody nukes each other, and all the records of humanity is destroyed. But if there's no Great War, and if there's no and information is preserved, that doesn't even make any sense because we still got proof of the Egyptians. So his behavior. I was thinking of a way how to save his behavior. We can't. He's echoed what he did on Sunday will echo in eternity on his last name. Think about that. His actions will echo on his last name for an eternity. I get it. You're from Philly, from the streets of Philly, and you don't take any shit. I get it. I understand. Same like Boston. I get it, man. I get it. We're not selling out. We're not taking no shit. Fuck you. You step out of line, you get whacked. I get it. That's the type of mentality that works on South Street. That's not the type of mentality that works on Hollywood Boulevard when you're trying to set up the future of your last name for eternity. That's my selfish opinion, right? Because I'm in media, and I would love to have that opportunity one day once we start releasing these documentaries to be able to get an Oscar, right? That's something I want to do before my mom or my dad dies, right? Put out a body of work, be able to get that acceptance from the Academy and my peers, and for my children to see that great accomplishment. Because I don't care how tough you are, unless you have mental illness. I don't give a fuck how tough you are. Every single fight, there comes a time in your life when you look back at it and it goes, that was some dumb shit. Unless you have mental problems and you, I don't know you're just a guy that you have no remorse for humanity and you just kill people and it doesn't affect you. But if you don't have that illness, every single human being on the planet will sit back and look back at that fight and say, I was right to defend myself, right? I was right. But once you start to unpack it by yourself, locked in a room, dark room, in a meditative state, we always will say that fight was stupid. Everybody will say that fight was stupid. But we get caught up in the now, right? And that's just humanity. We get caught up in the now, right? It's 20 something years later and we're saying, shit, I think going to war with Afghanistan and Iraq was a bad idea. Well, I mean, the guy knocked over 2 towers, right? We had to go out and get him. Now you get him. Now you're thinking, shit, maybe that was a bad idea. You know, a lot of people died. A lot of troops, PTSD. A lot of mothers, wives, sisters, and aunts. Their children is all fucked up. I don't know where to go. I'm just trying to unbox this all to try and make sense. I get both sides. I get the pros and cons of both sides. There's a lot of unpacking that we need to do before we give our opinion on it. And I remember I said my selfish opinion, because maybe for Will Smith, acceptance from the Academy is not important, right? It's defending his last name, not have anybody talk shit about his family, defending his family, right? You could use that too. Money, fuck the Academy, fuck the Oscar. My family name is more important. I'm not gonna let anybody disrespect me. There's that too. But I can't comment on that. The only person that can really comment on that is Will Smith. I have my selfish opinion of what he should have done. You have your selfish opinion of what he should have done. That's something that he's going to have to unbox himself. He's going to look at his life, sit back, do some ketamine, maybe smoke a jib, have a Guinness because it's St. Paddy's Day. The remembrance of St. Paddy's Day is still behind us. Have a Guinness, some ketamine, and sit back and go, what the fuck did I just do? You guys know the routine.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care.